Okay.
Sir, I think one question I just made a guess. So I would actually request you to, and it turned out to be correct, but I want you to explain me. Probably, I think I don't remember it from yesterday's session on the RASP.
We will go through all the questions. What is the most commonly overlooked but essential?
Sir, can you share the screen?
Screen is not shared?
No.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me know when you are able to see it.
Okay. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. Okay. What is the most commonly overlooked but essential component to a comprehensive logging and monitoring strategy? What is the most commonly overlooked but essential components to a comprehensive logging and monitoring strategy? Okay. Capturing login failures, external log storage, reviewing logs, collecting administrative privilege evasion events. I know all of them are important. And this is one of the questions which considered as entrapment questions. All of them are important, but the most important, gentlemen, it is the external log storage here. Why? Here, look at the question. The question is tricky. What is the most commonly overlooked but essential component? When now it's a component. It is a component. Capturing log failures, it's not a component. Reviewing logs, it is not a component. Collective administration privilege, it is not a component. All these actions, it should be done against the log files. But what is a component? It is the external log storage. Okay? I considered that this is one of the what we can say entrapment questions. It is very easy, but again, you have to read the question very carefully, very carefully. What is the component? Component, it will be only the storage. And as we mentioned that it will be very important to make it as a component, as a storage, because external storage, because all the data, it will be logged to the external server. Then it will be considered as central repository, and usually it will be the same, and hackers, it will not have an access for it, when they will not be able to delete the data to cover their footprints and their activities and so on. Okay. What are the two components to a federated identity systems? Actually, we are three, not two. We are client, identity provider, relying party, or in some situation we are calling identity provider. Some other we call it identity provider, then identity provider or relying party, whatever. And I think both of you are answering correctly. Keep in your mind, in some situations, the components are not two, they are three. What is the third component which you can add it here?
Client.
Client.
Client of the user.
Yes. Yes, you are right. Okay. Which of, why it's showing like that? Which of the following security devices would enable a system to filter out attacks, such as SQL injection before they reach the application servers? That's the right answer. We have all of you answered correctly. We even XML, you know, if he will mention XML firewall, then it can be confusing. But of course, here, if it will, he save SQL injection and all this stuff, we are well known, or the top 10 for OS, for the application web browser, sorry, web browser application. Then XML here, it is not an option at all. This it's a web answer, and you all of you answered correctly.
Sir, one minute. If you just go back to the previous question, so you said that in case if the question had been, if the option would have been XML firewall, so can an XML
No,
firewall
no.
also?
XML, no. I am saying even if they said XML, this it may confuse, but XML it will not be the right answer because the SQL injection it is well known, or it is one of the top 10 attacks which are known for the web browser applications.
Okay.
Which type of testing would not be programmed against an application that does not contain self-protection capabilities?
So this is the one which I guessed it as RASP, and it turned out to be right.
Type of testing would not be performed against an application that does not contain self-protection capabilities. Okay. I'm afraid that I did not explain this type of
Exactly.
tests. This is again one of the important tests, and it's called real-time application security penetration. And this gentleman, what is the story here for this application? This application is dynamic. It has some capabilities where it is able to change its architecture. Or its design. People we are asking, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Because this is what is going with the virus. You know, when you have a virus, in some situation, you may have a virus, then after some time, after you find a signature, you will find that the application, it will change its format and it will change its signature. Then the applications, it will not be able to regionalize. Then this it can happen. There are some applications which is applications which are developed, and we have self-protection capabilities. It can change the structure, it can change the behavior, whatever the method of the protection. Then when you want to test these applications, you have to use the RASP, the real-time application security penetration testing. Why? Because this testing, what will happen here? It will try to attack. Then it will check if the application, it will be able to change its attitude. Yes, then I will try to make changes in my type of attack and check what will happen and so on. Then this is which we call it the RASP type of attack. This penetration testing, SAST and test, of course, we know it. Which of the I don't know what's why the F, why the letter F, it has the problem with it. I don't know. Which of the following could not be used in a multi-factor authentication system along with a password? RSA token, it can be, because this is something, of course, with a password here, then this means that I have something I know. Then RSA token, of course, it can be because this is something you have. Sorry, it's a password, something you know. RSA, something you have. Retina, something you are. Fingerprint, something you are. Then this means that challenge response, and I think both of you answered the question correctly. Which of the following would be the most important reason to have the development and production systems in the same cloud environment? Okay. Usually, as you mentioned, the APIs. That's right. And this is a real scenario, gentlemen, because the APIs are not standard. It depends on the cloud service provider. And these APIs, it's just a matter of interface. It will not make any difference for your application. It's a matter of interface. But if you have the interfaces are different, then your test for the development environment, it will be totally different from the production. Then this means that you may face a problem. And this is 100% answered question. What is the most commonly used assertion method with federation? Of course, when you will say assertion, then this means that we are speaking about SAML. Assertion method, when this it's a SAML. Assertion method, it is a SAML. Which of the following is not part of OWASP top 10 list? Unfortunately, as I told you before, you have to memorize some information, and this is one of the information which you have to memorize it, unfortunately. Although it is not a popular question, gentlemen, although it's not popular question, but unfortunately, we cannot trust ISC square. In some situation, you may find that they can provide you such these silly questions. Frankly speaking, even I will not be able to answer it, but I will try to think about it. Cryptographic failures, yes, this is for one of the OSP. Weak password, no, weak password, this is the right answer. Weak password, this is the right answer. OSP, it will never speak about weak passwords at all. With a single sign-on system, what is passed between systems to verify users' authentication? Tokens, you are right. In single sign-on tokens, and we explained this yesterday. Tokens, this it will be used, you are right. Which of the following is the only data format supported by SOAP? XML, you are right. You are right. Of course, this very simple question. Very, very simple question. Why? JSON, no. SAML, this is not data format. Why AML? I never hear about it before. When this is XML. If you are running application security tests against a system where you have knowledge and access to the code, the white, which type of testing are you running? Static, you are right. If you need to determine whether software being used by your organization contain any code from open source. Aha, okay, with the SCA. Take care about these simple questions. The one who answered static, this very simple question, you will lose it. And I highlight and stressed this because the only question which you can have in this SCA test, it is what is the purpose, what is the objective? Then please don't lose very simple questions. Leave the chance to lose questions which it have scenarios tricky as the first one, which we had it as question number 1 and so on. Of course, I know that you are not preparing for the exam right now, and yesterday we finished the explanation, but take care about these points. You have to memorize it and you have to understand. What would not be included for the initial requirements gathering for a software development project? I read it what? Who would not be included for the initial requirements? Of course, developers. Because developers, they will be involved only in what? The phase of coding. And when you will reach to the coding, you will find before the coding something called the design. Why we have the design? Because when you will collect the requirements, analyze the requirements, and do all these exercises, this it will be in a business format which is not understood by the developers. Then the software analyst, he have to collect all these requirements, put it in the design format where he will say that we must have a front-end server, we have back-end server, we have a database, this server it will.
ஹரீஷோட கொஸ்டின் பாத்தியா? எவனோ ஒரு broker வந்துட்டு என்ன சொல்லிருக்கானா, who had come other day was saying that the owner of the 2 houses.
Sorry, what did you say?
Prem, you are not in mute. I think he's not in mute, he's talking.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
You have to pay $5 fine.
It's okay, no problem. when developers are not included in this phase. Management, it is very important. We have to be available to provide you their input and expectations. User, they are the most important stakeholder in this phase to understand what are their expectations and the problems and so on. And security, of course, we mentioned that security is very important. It should be included from first phase, and in each phase, as we mentioned before, secure SDLC. Okay, excellent.
So, sir, what is there is one more test called as IAST also in the book. What is the difference between IAST and RASP?
IAST, no, don't give me
Yes.
application, give me the name.
1 minute.
So that is called interactive security testing.
If it's
And
interactive,
Interactive application security testing.
yeah,
I'll tell you something, because I don't want to waste your time. Just send it me the page, I will have a look on it. It may be an additional what we can say, a test which I did not
The
know.
page number 435, sir. Page
No,
number
we covered it
435.
last time. I mean, we covered it last time.
No, I don't. Oh, we covered it. Okay.
No problem. It's okay. I can have a look on it later, and we can work it on it. This it's okay. No problem.
Okay. I think it's an application which is monitoring.
Muhammad, you are muted. Because I heard you, then suddenly I'm not hearing anything. You are.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think it was one which is you install an agent to monitor your server, something like that.
Type, no problem. I will review it, and I will update you during the break. During the break, I will have a look on it. Type, okay. I think we have to stop the